As we get closer to Halloween, we invited some special guests who actually help people in our area who feel they have paranormal activity going on at their home or business. We welcome two of the lead investigators from the Pennsylvania Society for Paranormal Research, Bill Cook and Jerry Thompson. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks.
Now, Jerry, I'll get started with you. How did you get involved with investigating paranormal activity?
Well, back when I was a teenager, I had a personal experience. When I was 14 years old, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and so I just sat up in bed, just wide awake, and something kind of pulled me and said, "Look out your window." So I look out my window, and I see this white figure floating down the side of a hill towards a pond. I was like, oh, it's probably mist, until it hit the pond and didn't go across the pond, but went into the pond. And it kind of freaked me out, but not to the point where I didn't want to do it anymore, and I've been curious about it ever since.
Did you go look and see if something was there?
I went to look, and later, as I got older, I checked the records. It's a man-made pond. So there was a stream that went through there. So the only thing I could think of, maybe it was a residual that walked down the hill going to the creek and ended up going into the pond instead.
Oh, my goodness. And so then as an adult, you decided to start trying to find, do we say spirits or do we say energies, or how do you word what it is that you try to investigate?
We try to investigate to see what's going on at people's houses. It may not necessarily be spirits. It may be a rodent in the wall.
Okay.
We try to debunk a lot of stuff before we can go, oh, yeah, your place is haunted.
Right. But you believe you saw a spirit. Is that right?
I think so. And that was 30 years ago. So
It's funny that this is what you do, try to help people that have energies in their homes, and you still seem a bit of a skeptic yourself.
yeah, I got to have proof.
And have you found proof in some of the places you've been?
We have.
Oh, great. And how about you, Bill? How did you get started?
A similar story as Jerry just said. As a child, I grew up in a house that was built in the early 1900s, and we just always had strange things happening. We used to stay up late as a teenager and play cards in the living room, and one night a ball rolled from another room and nobody was in the room. And one of my nephews, he's in his 20s now, he was 2 at the time, and he would always talk about the man in the mirror. And we had a big, huge mirror when you walked in the front door that was a coat closet. And he'd always talk about this man in the mirror, and at 2 years old, supposedly you're more sensitive and be able to tell more things because you're more open to.
Right, I've heard that. You just gave me chills like crazy.
I got chills telling you the story.
Ugh.
So
I have to say, for both of you, pretty brave to keep investigating this. I mean, I have to give you credit because I could never do it. And right now, actually, this has all kind of picked up steam. On television, there are a lot of shows that show that there are many people across the country and really across the world that do the same kind of paranormal investigations that you do.
yes,
And
they estimate 3 million in the United States just based on websites and Facebook. So there's 3 million groups that do what we do.
3 million. Unbelievable. And the crazy thing is, those groups probably also got together for the same reason. Some sort of an experience that made them want to investigate it. Would make me want to run the other way, but hey, good for you. You look sane to me, whatever. This is not just hearsay. You actually have equipment. How does that work?
We have EMF detectors. It picks up electromagnetic fields. We've actually started trying to develop some of our own equipment that picks up different sounds and vibrations, and we just try to use those to help us find out if anything's going on. But then we use the digital recorders to pick up different audio sounds, and a lot of times we'll be having a conversation and a male or female's voice or even a child's voice comes into our conversation that's not in the room with us.
Oh, my God.
And we call that an EVP, which is an electronic voice phenomenon.
And you actually have some of these posted on your website.
Yes.
Yeah.
PSPR Erie.com.
PSPR Erie.com. So anyone can tune in and get the chills themselves. What's the most unusual thing that you would say has happened now that you're an adult investigating this? I'll start with you, Jerry.
We investigated a church here in town, and that was when we were with another group. I was doing tech at the time, so I'd set up all the equipment, get things out and running. And a previous investigation, we had caught a shadow person on the DVR. So I was like, hey, I'm going to set up in that room where we saw the shadow person. So I set things up, and end of the night comes around, we start tearing down. I set a flashlight on this countertop, perfectly level, and I got a cold blast through my shoulder, and the flashlight rolled across the countertop for no reason.
Wow.
I was standing there talking to the other investigator, and it's like, the heck was that?
And you still stay calm about it all. It's just kind of like, oh, well, that might just be that shadow person.
Yeah.
And I'm just taking it that a shadow person is what you see, something that looks like a shadow, but no human is casting the shadow.
Right. That was actually with Erie County Paranormal. We were at that group at the time.
I see.
and they were featured on Ghost Live TV show.
Wow. And so have you been back to the church since then?
Yeah,
Is this an abandoned church, or is this a church that people still...
it's an active church.
And did someone call and say, listen, some things are going on? And that is how you get the people. That's how you
Right.
help
Oh,
them.
yeah.
They call you and say
we get
there is a problem.
A ton of phone calls, and people just say, hey, we're experiencing this or that. And depending on the situation, sometimes we go in and do what we call pre-investigation, kind of an interview during the day, and make sure that the person, is somebody that's credible. Some people just hear noises and blame it on paranormal, and we want to make sure that it's actually a valid case before we waste hours in listening to audio and video and researching it. So we'll go in and talk to them and take some baseline readings with our equipment, and then come back and do a night investigation and see what we get, go through all the evidence, and whatever we get, we come back and show the client and go over it with them and give them an explanation of some things that aren't paranormal. It might be a pipe in the wall that bangs, or their furnace, or air conditioning, or different things like that. But sometimes we get voices in rooms and see shadows and catch it on video and give it to them. And most of the time you try to comfort them and tell them that it doesn't seem to be anything that's going to be harmful. These are people who were alive at one point as well, and they're just trying to live their life the way that they can now.
It's just letting them know so they can be calmed down one way or
Right.
another, but you don't have a way to get those energies out of the place that you are in, or...
Actually, Sue, our medium, she can cross them over. If they want the entity or whatever spirit, whatever's in there, if they want them out of the house, we can have Sue do a house cleansing, then hopefully it works. Sometimes it takes, sometimes it doesn't.
You understand this all just sounds like a movie and TV show. It's hard, but everybody has to realize by this time that things do happen. They're
Absolutely.
upset by it. You are actually there to calm them, and you charge nothing.
Right.
Right.
Because that's the whole point. You just want to help them out. What's the
Exactly.
most unusual thing that you have seen, Bill?
Madison Seminary?
Yeah, we were investing in Madison Seminary in Madison, Ohio, and it's a huge building, and we just got into the investigation, and myself and Barb, another investigator, were on the second floor for quite some time, and there's old medical equipment and really strange-looking, scary metal chairs and different things. So we were in there walking around, and we turned around the corner as I entered this room, and I looked to my left, and right behind the door I could see what looked to me as a dark figure, about, I would say a 7 or 8 year old child standing there. And as soon as I tried to look, to get my bearings to see what was going on, it wasn't there. And it was pretty eerie, and I've got goosebumps telling you about
Yes,
it.
I'm just saying. You too. So then that night when you were investigating, did you get any readings? Or, I mean, I know you saw that, which is big, but I mean, did you get any sort of voices or readings to confirm this?
Typically, we almost get EVPs on every investigation,
Wow.
which is the strange thing. you
Yeah.
know?
Aren't you
It's really
surprised
cool.
by that? Or now it's just normal
yeah.
for
But
you?
it's pretty much normal now, but it is surprising that
Every time we go somewhere, there's,
right.
yeah.
One of the best EVPs that well, it's probably not the best because it wasn't as clear, but we're doing the Jetson House in Waterford, and Jerry and I were in the replica room. So they have a layout of the old Fort LaBeouf fort, and we were standing there. We were just pretty much just talking. It got late in the night. It's probably 3 or after 3 in the morning, and we were just having a conversation, and a man chimes in with our conversation, and didn't think about it at the time, but after talking about it, there was all different types of languages being spoken at this fort. It was a French
Right.
fort, and this voice just kind of mumbles some stuff that doesn't sound like English, but it was probably a different language, and it went on for 10, 15 seconds, which
Yeah.
normally they're very short, one word or a few words. And it
Kind
was
of
pretty
mocking
interesting.
me because I
Yeah.
said something and it was like, yeah, it was
Really?
crazy.
Did you get that one on tape?
Oh, yeah,
That's one of
yeah.
the ones posted on there?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? You two are just easy to talk to. Or easy to make fun of. It just depends how it goes. Like
Either way,
they have a
you
good
know.
sense of humor. Wow. Well, really, really interesting things. I would love for anyone who has challenges, or maybe they think they're going crazy hearing things. Is that what you hear most, that people think that they're seeing things or hearing things? Or
A lot of people get worried, especially when there's young children involved. They're worried, maybe something's in this house that could cause harm to my child. And
Right.
90% of the time it's something banging in your wall, your dog scratching it out the door. It's just that little 10% that yeah, you have activity, and what do you want to do about it?
So if they want to contact you, the best way is to go to your website, which again is
PSPRerie.com.
PSPRerie.com, and contact you via the phone number or the email, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Just keep checking the website. We have events all the time and different things going on, and
We're actually talking to the owners of the Erie bookstore on State Street, and they're also into the paranormal, and they want to try to set up something to where paranormal groups or even Bigfoot enthusiasts, UFO people can come in, meet, and just kind of get to know each other.
Great.
That way they can get the community kind of spread out and start working together a little better.
we try to do para-unity. A lot of groups have animosity against other groups. So I'm better than you or not. And we try to involve other groups, and we've invited groups from Butler and from Buffalo, all different areas, to come investigate with us and just share our experiences. And you learn in different techniques and different ways to investigate that you get better evidence.
Plus, there's safety in numbers, right? But thank you so much, Jerry Thompson and Bill Cook, the lead investigators for the Pennsylvania Society of Paranormal Research, especially this time of year. We appreciate you taking the time to come in this morning.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you.